bin ich mal wieder Englisch unterwegs, and I heartily welcome to SCOTT Jennings. For me, a giant of beer brewing in the USA, oh, in the world. Well, he's known, he's a famous brewer.
Oh no, stop it.
Well, you're working for SIERRA Nevada.
Yeah.
And as far as I heard, you invented the Torpedo IPA, which everybody of us, I'm pretty sure, had once and tried it, and I love it.
Yeah, it's one of our classic IPAs by now. Yeah. So with the invention of that was not on purpose.
Really?
It was an accident. It started as a way of improving the way we dry hop a different beer, one we make called Celebration Ale.
Okay.
That's a beer we make in the autumn every year, and it's fresh hops directly from the farm to the brewery. It's one of maybe our most famous beer. You know how it is. There's a big difference when you have really fresh hops from the farm versus hops from the freezer.
Yeah.
It's really different. So anyway, we made this Celebration Ale, oh gosh, since probably 1982. Always straight from the farm. But around 2005 or something like that, we found ourselves in a place where we couldn't make any more volume because we ran out of space. And the reason we ran out of space is because the way we would dry hop that in the old days with whole hops, not pellets, is we would have these bags, nylon bags, about as big as a pillow, and we would stuff the Centennial hops in there and some Cascade, and then you tie it with a knot, and then you connect it with a chain in I think about a 420 hectoliter tank, where you can open the bottom and open the top, and you have a chain going all the way down through the bottom with these bags coming off of it, almost like a Christmas tree or something in there, you know?
My imagination shows it to me. Okay?
Yeah, there's a lot of hops in there, as much as we can possibly fit in. But the problem is you need 2 tanks to make 1 tank of Celebration. You brew into 1 tank, then you stuff all the hops in the other tank. Then, normally on day 3 or day 4 of fermentation, we transfer the beer from 1 tank to another one. Then we clean this one, and we can brew into it again. But you need 2 tanks to produce 1. So we ran out of space. Yeah.
And then you found a different way to do it.
Yeah.
And as far as I heard, because you made a lecture to this, you've invented something, a kind of tube where you were circulating the beer through. And this looked like a torpedo, and there's the name from.
That's where the name comes from. So we tried working on this in around 2006, I think it was. We used an old water filter, which is 30 centimeters by 1,500 centimeters or something like that, where we took out all of the insides and we put in our custom filter system inside, and then you stuff it full of hops, close it, purge it with CO2, then you can bring it to the fermenter and connect it with the recirculation. So now you don't need 2 fermenters to make 1 tank of Celebration, it's 1 for 1. So this was the idea, but we tried and failed many times to get the circulation to work, because the screens inside would block, and then you couldn't flow anymore. That happened over and over again, and finally, by the time we had the design details correct and it would work, Celebration season was gone for the year, and the hops we were using in Celebration were gone. We reduced the amount of crystal malt and changed the hops and kept trying and kept trying and kept trying, and eventually it worked, and we were so excited that we thought, we have thrown away so many small batches of this trying to design this system, but this one worked, so we're going to keep it. And we put it on tap in our tap room in Chico, California, and we didn't know what to call it. And so with this water filter being tall and skinny, we had to make a custom stand for it because it wanted to tip over. And the stand looked like fins, just to keep it stable with wheels, and it looked like a torpedo. And so that's what the nickname became for the beer. We called it Torpedo and put it on tap in Chico, California in the summer of 2007. And that's how Torpedo was born.
And it was a success.
Yeah.
It's still... is it your best-selling beer?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore?
No, it never was.
It never was?
No, Pale Ale was our best-selling beer at the time when Torpedo was at its peak. Torpedo probably had, I don't know, maybe 25% of our volume, something like that. And by now it's down to maybe 10%. Our best-selling beer right now is Hazy Little Thing. It's less bitter.
It's less bitter.
But it has a really intense hop character that's more fruity than Torpedo is. Torpedo is sort of pine and grapefruit focused.
Yeah.
Hazy Little Thing is more tropical aroma. Torpedo has about 70, 72 IBUs. Hazy Little Thing is about 38 or so.
So it hits probably the taste of a broader audience.
Yeah, but it's just more of a modern IPA, whereas Torpedo is more of a classic
IPA.
Yeah.
But with the full flavor of
really,
it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, Sierra Nevada is one of the most traditional breweries doing IPAs and stuff. I think they're around more than 40 years by now.
Yeah. We started in 1980.
1980. And you are with the company more than 20 years.
Yep. 24 years this year. Yeah.
So how was your way into the beer business?
I started with home brewing a long time ago, and after university I was working for the U.S. government, the Department of Geological Survey.
Okay.
So what we did in my particular group was we made maps of groundwater in the western part of the U.S., in particular groundwater pollution from the mining industry. And so we would go and take groundwater samples and analyze for mine pollutions and make a map of where those are migrating over time. That's what I was doing. But that was in, I don't know, but 97, 98?
But it is something that might help you until today. You have your own fountains where you bring the water up, or
we do at the brewery. Both breweries we have our own wells. Deep into the ground. Probably, I don't know, maybe about almost 200 meters or so down into the aquifer. But the interesting thing is that in Chico, the water has a really high calcium content and a very high hardness. And in North Carolina, no calcium and no hardness. The water profile is more like one of the classic Pilsen waters. So when we brew in North Carolina, to flavor match with Chico, it's quite easy. We just add calcium sulfate, calcium chloride to bring the calcium up to match Chico.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Fine.
That was one of the reasons, by the way, we chose that location, because of the water quality.
Smart.
It's much easier to add in minerals than to take them out.
That's true. That's true. And I heard you lived in Germany for a couple of years.
Not a couple, about a year. I went to the VLB in Berlin with Oliver Wesselow. He was a classmate of mine in a different class, but I was in the international student program in 2000, 2001. And then immediately after that, I went to England, where I did an internship at Young's Brewery, which is was in London. It's closed now. And then, to make a long story short, I started in Chico, California in 2001.
And you have been the head brewer, but now you're boss of the creative part of it. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it changes from time to time.
Oh God, what will I be tomorrow? I don't know.
Well, it's not quite that quickly, but no, I started just as what we call a shift brewer.
Yeah.
Then I went into research and development because we built a new research brewery, a small pilot brewery, 10 hectoliters, and that's when we started to develop new beers for the first time in many years. 2011, we decided to build a new brewery in the eastern United States, in North Carolina, and so they sent me out there to help design and build and then start the brewery, commission the brewery. So I was the commissioning brewmaster of the new brewery. Then I became the production brewmaster. And now I'm the technical brewmaster.
Okay.
So
more or less, you now manage the brewing process and everything. You're not involved in the brewing anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
Yourself.
Yeah. But I still brew small batches for research.
Okay.
Fairly often. We try and come up with some new beers every year. So I'm doing some of that, but we also have some great guys and some wonderful brewers who are working in that area also.
So what are the beers you are working on? What's the next thing to come?
Oh, we have, of course, plenty of new IPAs. There are a lot of new hops in the market every year, and so we're always experimenting with the new hop varieties to create some new combinations with interesting flavors. Tropical fruit is still quite a popular flavor in the U.S. market. Citrus. We do a couple of beers with some fruit or hibiscus. But
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, most of them are just really hop-dominated beers. That's really kind of what we're known for and what people expect from us, and so that's what we do. If you come to the brewery, though, in our pub, you will find a huge variety of beers, from classic, maybe classic German styles, Pilsner, Märzenkolsch, or whatever, and then really experimental things too. Even some Belgian style beers. We do all kinds of things, but for distribution, it's mostly IPAs that you're going to see.
Okay. So, what I know that the personal taste for beer changes with the weather sometimes. What is the beer you at the moment? What is the beer style at the moment that's your favorite?
Oh, well, I'll tell you right now. I have a Rochefort 10.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a really special beer.
It is.
It's a wonderful, beautiful beer.
It is totally.
It's a real treat to get to try it. So that's what I'll say. My favorite beer at the moment is this beer right here, Rochefort 10.
And this is a perfect end-in for this interview. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.